Welcome to the Yo-11 podcast, mostly Vegas no BS casino experience and more. Michael Traeger's casino and travel loyalty expert who also helps people turn their travel dreams into reality. And now your host, Michael Traeger. How's it going, Michael?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I am doing quite well. Thanks for asking. And this is the final episode before Christmaka. Hanukkah.
That's right. This is our Merry Christmas episode to everybody. It is our final episode of the year. Yo-11 will be returning in January, even bigger and better and more beautiful than it's ever been before. It's going to be huge.
But it's going to be huge.
It's huge. You've not ever seen a Yo-11 like this before. And I rolled those dice. I did it. I closed my eyes and I just put my hand up in the air and I just took them and I rolled them like that. And it was just the most beautiful, beautiful Yo-11 you have ever seen in your entire life.
I cannot wait to record that episode.
Absolutely incredible. So before we get on to our topic of the day, which might be an early Christmas present from Hyatt, what are your Christmas plans? What are your Christmas plans for Vegas?
It's going to see the Nutcracker on Monday. That's going to be at the Smith Center, I think. Never seen a ballet before, but I'm glad it's Christmas themed because I probably wouldn't go see Swan Lake or something like that. It wasn't my idea, but you know what? Why not? And then on Tuesday is Enchant Las Vegas, which Enchant is this magical Christmassy spread out over an acre or two or something like that. Very beautiful, very festive. Some holiday shops, ice skating, lights everywhere. It's going to be fantastic. And then on Christmas Day, the idea is the Bellagio Conservatory. Of course, the patisserie next to it. And of course, Giardini Garden Store. So, and watching a Christmas Story, because that's my Christmas Day tradition, is to watch a Christmas Story with little Ralphie and that whole thing. So that's what I got going on. What is your Christmaka looking like?
That's sounding really good. You way, I've seen more Nutcrackers than anyone in the entire universe.
How is that? How have you seen more Nutcrackers?
Because my father and stepmother are huge ballet fans, and all throughout my childhood, I went to the Nutcracker in New York every single year, sometimes multiple years. So I always saw it. And I actually happen to like ballet. It's good. It's Nutcracker. Nutcracker is a really, really good ballet. So I think you will enjoy it a lot. And I will just leave you with what my grandmother used to call, what she used to say. I don't know. I probably shouldn't say this. What she used to call ballet. My grandmother was hysterical. She used to call it balls a poppin', because the men wore such tight tights that you always saw their balls bouncing up and down.
2 balls a poppin'.
My grandmother, I know. I never will forget that.
Oh man. Grandmothers are great. Like they're just so they're not trying to be the parent anymore.
So I know you're gonna think of this as you're looking at all these guys.
I was hoping that they would have like little coats or something covering all that bounciness around. Wow. Oh well. Anyways, balls of poppin'. Freak. Now I can't think of anything else. Like, it's the Nutcracker. Oh, there's nuts, all right. Wow.
Sorry.
Grandmothers are fantastic. They are the best. I hear you. My grandmother said something every Thanksgiving when there was turkey. She would come over to my mom's place in Brooklyn, and when my mom was carving the turkey, she would ask my grandmother, what does she want? Like, like light meat or dark meat, stuff like that. And my grandmother, rest her soul, Italian, would say, "I'll have the ass." Like she only wanted the ass of the turkey. Um,
It's my favorite part.
yeah, I'll have the ass, and that just always made us laugh because, like, we were very limited on the words we were allowed to say. But hearing my grandmother, who just, I believe the term is gave no fucks, say something like "I'll have the ass," it was just always a funny thing.
There are just a few things I remember. Like my grandmother just had a few really good things, but I think the fact that she tuned in on the fact that guys were in tight tights and you could check out their anatomy. I thought it was sort of intriguing. Oh, you are right. Grandmothers are wonderful. So you will check out. You'll have to report back on the anatomy of the ballet.
On the balls of popping. Yeah,
Balls of popping.
we'll be sure
Yeah,
to
I
do
don't.
that.
It's just like something you would never forget. So anyway, it sounds like a great. That's what we should. That's what we should name this episode. It's Christmas balls a poppin'.
Why not?
Plus, deep dive in a shallow pool. Hyatt and Venetian. I love it. Okay, so let's move on to the tea. Okay, as many know, they have seen this press release and are so excited. Dun, dun, dun. That's your cue to put up the press release. That the iconic luxury resort on the Las Vegas Strip is to join the World of Hyatt program, expanding Hyatt's distribution in a key market that matters to guests and travel partners. And that is Venetian, or the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, which also includes a Palazzo. And they announced a long-term licensing agreements to make the iconic luxury property on the Las Vegas Strip bookable through Hyatt channels, including Hyatt.com and the World of Hyatt mobile app in the future. World of Hyatt members and eligible meeting and event planners will be able to earn and redeem loyalty points on qualifying stays, earn credits towards the Brand Explorer Awards, and for World of Hyatt Elite members, enjoy additional on-property benefits. With this long-term licensing agreement, Hyatt will offer more choices for rewarding travel experiences and stays in the all-suite resort at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. So basically, as everybody knew, Venetian Palazzo were ending their marketing arrangement with IHG Hotels, and everybody has been wondering. I know you've been sleepless for nights, Movestro, who was going to partner with Venetian and Palazzo, and it turns out to be Hyatt. So it will be very interesting. Another interesting component of this, which I highlighted as part of this long-term licensing agreement, World of Hyatt will in the future offer elite Venetian rewards members benefits within the World of Hyatt program. And additionally, in the near future, these two hospitality powerhouses will work together in the MICE Meetings Incentive Conference and Exhibition and convention space to also complement each other's strengths in group business. But the main thing is that's it. That's all we know right now. We have to stay tuned for additional information on when and how the Venetian Resort will participate in World of Hyatt. So this is a deep dive into a shallow pool for sure, because the when and the how we do not know. What don't we know? We don't know what benefits Hyatt Elite members are going to get at Venetian. Things like for globalists, which is top tier with Hyatt. Will there be a breakfast benefit? Yes. What will the breakfast benefit be? Will there be waiver of resort fees, which is a normal globalist benefit? But will that waiver of resort fees only be limited to booking Venetian Palazzo through Hyatt channels, which means Hyatt.com? In other words, Will the Hyatt channel rates be more expensive than the rates that you can buy the rooms on Venetian Palazzo? Because when that's also a similar thing that you have at the Rio, that in order to get the Hyatt benefits, you need to book the Rio rooms through Hyatt. You can't book them through Rio directly or through a third party. What will the category be for award stays, i.e., how many World of Hyatt points will you need to stay at Venetian Palazzo? Is it going to be a really tough category in which you're going to need a lot of points? Those kind of things. And also, will the Hyatt Privé luxury program be integrated into this? And will you be able to buy rooms under Hyatt Privé, which give you luxury benefits at Venetian and Palazzo? So tons and tons of unknowns. We also don't know. They did say specifically that Venetian rewards people are going to get World of Hyatt benefits. They don't necessarily say what World of Hyatt benefits that you will get from Venetian rewards, or if they're going to match. Because if you remember, a lot of people are really upset that an MGM Noir gets top tier Marriott Bonvoy, which is ambassador, but an ambassador does not get MGM Noir. But overall, that's the situation. So we don't know much. Is it an early Christmas present? I think so. I think it's positive. Of course, it's positive. We just don't know how positive it will be, especially with things like the waiver of resort fees. That's the biggie for people because people do not want to pay the resort fees. And Hyatt elites don't pay resort fees. So that'll be interesting to see if they carve out an exception. I doubt that'll happen, or if that waiver of resort fees will be there. So a lot of unknowns. So we'll have to see, and it'll be a couple of. I think we're a good couple months off from really understanding how the programs are going to be integrated.
All right, so it sounds like we'll be revisiting this one in the future.
That's right. We'll have to do a deep dive into a deep pool then.
So does it mean that there's a possibility that those who were attending Zorkfest, specifically the Hyatt people, the Hyatt members who are staying at Rio during Zorkfest 2024, might choose to stay at Venetian for Zorkfest 2025?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But remember, one of the things that's so compelling with Rio is that the room rates have been really, really low at Rio, and they get their Hyatt globalist benefits. The problem with Venetian Palazzo is the room rates, especially on weekends, are probably not going to be that low. And even now, the room rates are creeping up a little bit with Rio. But even then, setting that aside, if Hyatt globalists will be able to stay at Venetian Palazzo on the weekend and get a waiver of the resort fee and get a really significant breakfast benefit, that could be interesting. And of course, everybody's floating around like, where would they get a breakfast benefit? And that's a great question. Like the breakfast benefit at Rio is at Hash House A Go-Go. So where do you think it'll be at Venetian Palazzo? Probably Grand Lux Cafe, but it'd be really cool if you could use the breakfast benefit at Bouchon, right?
Yeah.
I know. Is there any other breakfast restaurant at Venetian Palazzo? There's Bouchon, there's Grand Lux, there's like a mini Bouchon place, but is there another place you can have? There must be another place you can have breakfast.
Yeah, there's like this. There's a place in the food court that does breakfast type items. So if they want to be really cheap about it, they would just give you the breakfast benefit at that place in the food court. But other than that, not that I can think of off the top of my head. No.
Okay. Well, there's a lot. It's definitely really exciting for World of Hyatt. That would be great. It's great. I mean, it's great. Obviously, it was a big loss to Hyatt losing all of the MGM properties, because remember, MGM went from Hyatt to Marriott. So now Hyatt has a pretty interesting situation here. So if we wanted to run through it all, Hyatt is going to have Venetian Palazzo, or Venetian Resorts, which is Venetian Palazzo, and Rio. Hilton has the Waldorf. The main Hilton properties are the Waldorf and also Resorts World. And the main properties for Marriott, well, there are a million properties for Marriott because there's all the MGM luxury and all of that. So that's like all of these MGM properties are basically Marriott now, like everything. Some are MGM luxury, some are not. So obviously Marriott has the biggest footprint, and then Hilton. And then there were some other properties too. Hyatt has a few other properties. What is it? Which is the other one that's the Hyatt Place? Is it Silverton?
I have no idea. Or maybe M Resort.
Yeah, Silverton. No, that's Boyd. Emma's Boyd. It's Silverton, which is a Hyatt hotel, I think. I've heard we don't talk about it that much because it just doesn't make sense to. Did I screw that up? Did I this sometimes my head goes blank on these kind of things because I'm only thinking of the main. I'm trying to see. There's a Hyatt Place behind. It is the Hyatt. Yeah, it's the Hyatt Place, Las Vegas at Silverton Village. Whew. I was good about that. So that's another Hyatt. But when I talk about when I was just talking about the major like Hilton, I don't count the Hilton vacation things and Hampton Inns and all of that. I just talk about the Waldorf and Resorts World, which is Conrad and Crockford's and Hilton. When I mention this new Hyatt partnership, I only talk about the Rio and also now Venetian Palazzo. I don't bring into play things like the Hyatt Place at Silverton Village when I talk about those, which I think is sort of correct because really people only care about the major. People pretty much so care about the strip properties, and I give Rio a little bit of a pass because it's close to the strip, so it's almost like a strip property, kind of, sort of. So
like you can see the strip from there. So,
right. But obviously Marriott wins when it comes to properties in Vegas. I mean, Marriott definitely wins now, and that was a huge loss for Hyatt. But remember, the Hyatt partnership with properties like Excalibur and Luxor and all of those gave very, very few benefits to Hyatt members, whereas the Rio does provide a lot more a lot more benefits like the Hash House, a go-go breakfast and things like that. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see what people say. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Venetian and Palazzo. I think it's going to be cool, but it's a really good one for Hyatt. I can't understand for the life of me why IHG wanted to let that partnership go. I don't understand it, but it's a great comeback for Hyatt because Hyatt losing all of those MGM properties was really, really optically sucky for them. So I think this is a really good comeback getting Venetian Palazzo and Venetian Resorts. So that's really cool. And that's it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll be back with you next year. Anything else, Movestro, you want to
add? Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Joyous Festivus, whatever your holiday is. I hope it's a good one. Yeah, that's all I got, everybody. We'll see you in January. If you want more information about what was just discussed, Mark Meltzer has a great article over on travelzork.com that just went up yesterday. And it, not yesterday. By the time you're hearing this, it's Monday. It went up, we'll say, on last Friday. And it covers the Hyatt move. It covers the W, because Mark checked out the W. Pretty much, it's still Delano. And Treasure Island has a new rewards program called the Treasury Rewards or Treasury Club or something like that. But it's basically an old school rewards program where you make your points only on gambling. And it looks like you can only use your points only for gambling, but there's information on that, so be sure to check out that article. Michael, before we get going, is there anything on your mind? Any thoughts? Anything you want to say?
Yes, and the Treasure Island stuff we'll cover more next year, but I didn't want to get into it before the end of the year. Too much for my brain. I wanted to just finally wish everybody, the happiest, healthiest, most joyous and lucky new year. I wanted to thank everyone for their support. I wanted to thank people also for their support of Zorkfest, even those who didn't come. There's been a lot of kind words out there. Thank everybody for their kindness. Thank everybody for supporting Travel Zork. Thank everybody for supporting what we do throughout the year. And we really appreciate it. We really appreciate your comments, your suggestions, and everything. So that's it. Just all, kindness and wonderful. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, and that's going to do it for this episode. Luxury travel booking, travelzork.travel. Visit us at travelzork.travel to plan your next amazing vacation, not just to Las Vegas, but anywhere in the world. And join the conversation on social media. You can find us everywhere. All social platforms are at TravelZork. We'll see you next time. Two balls of poppin'.